There we go. Now we're up on all the real channels. Look at that. Hit that like, everybody. Welcome to the show. HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. About to get started.
Getting larger. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Would you classify that as a launch pad or a design point?
Dr. Evil. I didn't spend 6 years of evil medical school. I called Mister. Thank you very much.
It's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world known as the Pentaverate, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaverate?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
All right, let's get started. As soon as I get my chat window up, it will happen. There we go. There's that. Right, so you guys, there we go. It's a thing of beauty. All right. Heroin Slava. Slava Ukraine. If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
To ask you to leave the store. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Okay, let's go to me. Hey, hi, there I am. Why? Okay. Excuse me. Okay, fine. Still powering through the sore. It's not even a sore throat. It's just raspy. Just like Bogey and Bacall, only more Bacall than Bogey. You see? I'm not actually sick. I'm over the sick part. Now it's just the price of singing your ass off and doing it through your throat. It's a difficult physical thing to do. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but I don't recommend it. Chat room, if I may say so my damn self. Hi, there you are. Look at you, lovely folks. Shop smart, shop S smart. That's right.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
That's right. Sparks 2028. Don't forget, I am running for office then. Don't worry, my voice will be healed by then. Although, would it be so bad if me and Newsom had a rasp off at some point? Just go up there and we've been trying to convince the American people to not be fucking stupid so much that, gosh, we're starting to lose our voice. All right. When do you have time to be sick? I clearly don't. Yeah, I do. You know what? I will say, somebody just said smoker's voice. I can't be the only person who's noticed. There's the pot gargle. You know those people that when they smoke weed, and maybe it's cigars too, because it has a lot to do with like how hot the smoke is and how long they hold it and whatever. Cigarette smokers still have shame keeping them from going, breathing it in deeply. But since pot is an open drug, everybody's like, I'm supposed to get, I'm being, economically, responsible by breathing in all this smoke as hot and as deep as I can. And so they get that, that near cough, deep, like smoker voice that's very different from cigarettes. You know what I'm talking about. Elon Musk has that right now. I'm sure we'll come across a clip at some point when we're talking about this shit. Tonight on the show, HAL Sparks, Mega Worldwide. I'm your host, HAL Sparks. I will be HAL Sparksing the rest of the night as only HAL Sparks can HAL Sparks. Is there a cat at my door? Or is my kids VRing up against? I think it might be. I don't know. We'll find out. It's okay. Anyways, in the meantime, and pardon me for chewing gum during the show, but this is my this is the gum I chew when I'm singing to help my voice. So there's a lot. Hold on. There's some. Is someone? Oh my gosh! I know what it is. Murphy, you're trapped. Sorry, buddy. I thought you were Camden trying to get in the office, and you were trapped in the closet. You okay? She went to the gym. She'll be back. Okay. That's hilarious. I was like, why would my kid be trying to get in the door? Because he can just open it. But it was like, I was like, oh, okay, maybe Murphy's trying to get into the, so, okay. Murphy the cat, if you don't know, we have a cat that can open doors. Long, lanky, long fur, Russian blue. That should tell you something. And he can just straight pull down on these doorknobs, these door handles, and just get in. He's learned how to do it. It's like it's frightening, quite frankly. And I was like, why the hell, and he was trying. He usually doesn't take that much for him to do it. And then I realized he was in the closet. He was in which there's two doors right next to each other. I'm not telling you how my room works. You think I'm nuts? But anyways, you know how to get in, sneak in the middle of the night, give me a fan wedgie. You don't think I'm up to here? Anyways, so he was in the closet asleep, and I apparently shut the door when I was closing the other door because it was just slightly ajar without checking. I should have checked for cat. Happy birthday, Alexa. I'm so glad I unplugged my actual Alexa so that it wouldn't trigger something. So she go, it's actually not my birthday, but thank you very much. Got to show you something though. I just realized before we get started, we're already started, but before we get started with our clips, I should be more clear. Where's this dumbass? Here we go. Check
Also
this
a
out.
fact.
Okay, hold on. I got to say, Fox and its vain attempt to cover for Elon Musk and do cleanup is getting more pitiful by the day. But let me show you something. This is kind of, I should be doing the Jesse. Yeah, that's right. I don't even have to do it right now. I don't have to do the voice at all. I can just kind of speak this way. All I need is a slightly macho Minnesota accent. Understand? Wow. So Hal, you sure you didn't mistake the gum for chewing tobacco? Yes, I'm sure. It's called airwaves, and apparently, for somebody was asking, this is not a. I'm not endorsing this. I'm not paid or anything. But apparently, Rob Halford is always chewing a piece of this when he's singing, and he like, and a singer who loves him, who did Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, heard about it and then passed that on to me. And so I do chew it when I'm. Sometimes you'll notice when it's time to do the Sammy Hagar songs in our set, I will pop some of this in my mouth, and it works. It does work. I mean, it won't make up for lack of talent, but it's once you've got the talent, it's it's the brick on the gas pedal, if you know what I'm saying. All right, let me show you something real quick. Now, these dum-dums over at Fox News are having a real hard time because they're the Trump suck-up network, and yet their entire channel is dealing with his like idiotic tariff stuff, and they're pretending not to know better. And they're doing everything they can to avoid talking about the stuff that Trump is fucking up. And one of the ways they're doing that is to go over and gargle Elon Musk's teensy, tiny, dried up raisinette little balls. And O'Leary will like elbow people out of the way to do this normally. But even there's something about the business class folks where they can only bullshit so much. Thanks, Randy. I like it too. Again, I'm not letting these assholes take the flag and patriotism and freedom. Fuck off. So, and by the way, Musk said Biden denied SpaceX offer due to politics. No, he didn't. This was always the plan. They rotated the last crew so that they could take 2 fewer people up, and then they used the rocket that was going this time to put the half of a crew up, and then so they could return with the 2 that were supposed to go back and 2 that were waiting to go back. That's how they did it. So, nonsense. This was always the plan under Biden. This was just the timing for it. And you could argue that Musk actually delayed things so so that Biden couldn't do it, and he could until the election was over, they could blame it on him. So is O'Leary Canadian? I don't know. You should know. And he goes, this is about the Tesla stuff. Let me show you something though.
Engineer, a heroic rescue feat yesterday. And then the folks in this country, I guess egged on by one of our governors, who want to destroy the property of the guy who made that rocket go up and come back down.
He didn't make that rocket go up and come back down. The taxpayer did. And they, his buddy in the White House gave him, the leeway to do it. And he denied, that he had the ability to do it last year so that it would make it more difficult. Nobody wanted to do the timing of the Boeing thing couldn't work out. It was manipulated. But the point is, he didn't do any of it. Everybody at SpaceX did. Musk has no idea how anything works there. Seriously.
First of all, like most people that are watching both sides of this, I would like to see the law upheld. Arson is a crime. You should go to...
Hey, agreed. As a matter of fact, I think arson is tantamount to attempted murder. Because if you set fire to a building or something next to a building that could cause that building to burn, and there's a security guard in there and they could die, fuck you. Right? I don't care. And again, form of protest or whatever, that's a totally different conversation. Setting shit on fire anywhere around a place where there are human beings, fuck you. No, 100%. Find another way. Don't. All right? Because Musk isn't anywhere near there. It's not even going to affect him. As a matter of fact, you saved him money because he can write it off as insurance. He might have been losing money on some of these cars or these dealerships, and now he can write it off as an insurance fee. Now Murph wants to come back in. Seriously? Murph. What's up, buddy? I know. Hi, buddy. I got to do a show. What are you doing? You don't know? Well, tell me a story. All right, he's going back upstairs. I'll leave the door slightly ajar so he won't have to muscle it so much. What an adorable cat. Anyways, there's a reason why I'm showing you this clip beyond the fact that watching these dickheads suck up to Elon Musk, like that's news.
For that. There's cameras all over those lots. The cars themselves have cameras that record what happens.
Yes, they do. And apparently Elon Musk can turn on the cameras in your car from his desk, whether you know it or not. Isn't that lovely? Yet another reason not to buy a Tesla. He can shut it off without your permission. What the hell? How are maggots okay with any of this? How does this make any sense?
They do.
And I think they should be persecuted relentlessly.
Persecuted? How about just prosecuted? How about just use the legal system? We don't have to like poke them with sticks.
For what they're doing, because loss of property is one of the laws.
Hey, look at that fire. Look at that burning car. And the thing, look up at the corner. Shall I stretch that out so you guys can see better? Can you read that? Right there. Anybody see what that says? See if it shows up in the chat, how long it takes. Uh-huh. Yeah. In case you can't read it and your screen is you're on your phone or something, it says HAL Sparks via Storyful, Las Vegas, Tuesday. That means this segment is not only helping me make a living by me mocking it for your benefit so that you can super chat and support and I can break down their talking point and all that stuff. And, you know, as a regular part of my job, it's doing some. Also, they have to pay me for the footage because they had to. I was contacted by Storyful. I don't really care. I don't do this all the time, so whatever. I'm probably getting ripped off, but they're like, "Hey, we noticed your footage in the Review Journal. Can we share it around? Viral rights, blah, blah, blah." And they used all of it. I didn't just upload the one clip that I gave to the Review Journal, which was a shorter one. Because they asked me for it. I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And Fox 5, I think around here also used it. But when these people asked, I was like, I got like 8 shots. I'm like, just don't use audio of, you know, my family talking. They're like, okay. So there it is. That's the footage that I shot with my cell phone. And while this was going on, my mom wakes us up and she wakes us up and she goes, "There's a fire." And I'm like, okay, we need some rules. If there is a fire in the house, you say there's a fire. If there's a fire across the street, say there's a fire across the street. You have to follow there's a fire with either emergency status or over there. It's very important. So, anyways, yeah. So, yeah. So, O'Leary here is making me money in two ways right now. I'm profiting off of Shark Tank over here. But don't forget to super chat me. Sorry. Okay.
Support in our democracy. It doesn't matter what party you're on. And I thought, you know,
first of all, party you're in. Also, prosecute, not persecute. Does this guy know how to talk? How did he ever get on television? Secondly, they use a lot of my footage. The last shot is when the oh, hi, Murph. Let's try it again. What the heck, dude? Murphy wants to be on tonight's show really badly. Hi, buddy. Come on. It's okay. Murphy. Come here. It's so funny. All right. This is going to be all night, isn't it?
Most people would look at that and say, I'm not okay with it. Democrats own these cars, Republicans own these cars.
By the way, can I just say the professional framing here? I mean, you could tell this guy, whoever shot this, is a real director. Look at this, getting the cascade of all of them. You'll notice in another shot, I was filming on this one window, and I was getting a bit of a reflection because it was a double pane piece of glass. I was getting so I'm. Go ahead. Yeah, you're good. I'm not looking, Murph. Go ahead. Just hop back in the closet. All right, fine. I'm gonna shut the other door then. You can just sit in the closet, so I don't have to bother them. You're fine. All right, just relax. That means he's trapped, and I can show him to you in a little bit in between clips. Hang around, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Also now on Substack and it's Instagram. All right, what site are you guys on? Say it in the chat. I'm everywhere. All right, now.
Criminals,
you'll see that I moved
they
to
should
the
go
side.
to jail, number one. Is he a hero?
Yeah, I agree. If they're criminals, they should go to jail. Way to take an edgy.
Well, apparently the
position.
government couldn't get them back with all the money they gave Boeing. My tax dollars went to Boeing. I didn't want to do
Your tax dollars also went to Musk.
that. They failed at the mission, and a private company happens to be founded by Elon Musk was successful. That's a fact, too. I think we should keep going with Elon because he actually has executional skills while others.
Okay, increasing fire in the back. They're cutting around. I don't like their edits, but I gave them a decent amount of footage. I think a crossfade would work really well. I think it's a little jarring when they do that, but I think they want your eyes to go to it. These folks are, what? YouTube. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Don't. And if I were the CEO of Boeing, I would put my head in shame today because
You would put your head in shame while people are persecuted to the full extent of the law, no matter what party they're on. Seriously, what the fuck? I don't understand. Does he smell almonds? Burnt toast? Did someone check on, like, Kevin O'Leary, are you, as a fellow panelist, on any medication that we should be made aware of? Motherfucker.
I could not deliver, and my bird is still on the ground, and his bird.
There it is. That's the cook-off. Do you see that? I got that. Look at that angle. Huh? I mean, obviously, I can't hang off the side of a building. I'm doing it from, down the street over a wall. But that should, that's a pretty nice catch there, don't you think? When the truck
because
comes up,
I could not deliver,
rolls
and my
over,
bird
and
is
then
still on the
pow.
ground, and his bird is flying back and forth. Also a fact.
And they ended it. Look at that. That was the big. They had a money shot. They literally money shot it. Yes, HAL didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. Anyways, we don't need to watch any more of this dipshittery, but I'm just saying that they used my footage, and I'm fairly certain. Yeah, they look how they play it the whole fucking time, and then they play some, like, a still shot, and then something about the plane, and then there you go, and they talk about it. I have to say though, where is it? Is it this girl? You go to her. You go to O'Leary, and then her, the Karen, the official Karen of the show, and then the girl in the pink on the far left, her. This is brutal. I will jump ahead to this because they're all stupid. They're all stupid on this panel. It's amazing. And go watch the clip, please, because it's on the official Fox Business account, and they have to pay me, I think, for the footage used on there as well. Anyways.
Love of the heroism that's happening in this moment.
So this is what I can't figure out. The left used to be peaceful, and now they're advocating for violent protests.
First of all, no. I am not advocating for violent protest. People have been setting shit on fire and spray painting things that, on things they don't like forever. Piss off with this the left nonsense. Hashtag Jan 6.
This was the party that used to want to avoid war, and now they're advocating burning things down because my toddler does that, threatens to burn things down when she doesn't get her way.
Really? Your toddler knows what arson is?
Except that we're 30, 40, 50-year-olds and
That's
not
pretty
2-year-olds.
advanced for a toddler.
You know what I mean, right?
No, no one knows what you mean, you weirdo.
Not threatening to burn things down, but making threats in general.
Yeah, just obviously not fire-related threats. So, like, you know, the word poopy comes up a lot, but not actual. I mean, she's not. Yeah, we're raising a serial killer, is basically.
To celebrate the decline of a stock price, I think the left 20 years ago was pro-capitalism. I would never.
Well, first of all, simmer on the left being pro-capitalism as a thing in general, and it's not the stock market that they're championing the crash of. Nobody really does that except, you know, your far extremes who want the whole thing to burn down, right? For the record. But a stock price for some, I mean, Halliburton, anyone? I've never wanted something with my name attached to it to fall so quickly in my life, except during the fucking Iraq War.
Root for the price of a stock to decline unless the fundamentals tell you that it should go down. You don't.
Yes. By the way, that's just a cherry on top of this turd cake. The fundamentals do suck, dummy. His cars aren't the best. The Cybertruck has a terrible crash record. It's worse than the Pinto. It's the panels are glued on. People are complaining that they're falling off. The bulletproof glass is intermittent, which is really, like, you don't want to find that out when it's most tested, just for the record. So, on top of the fact that he's a Nazi nutcase, the fundamentals also suck.
Do it because you happen to not like the CEO. Okay.
Are you, first of all, everybody goes to Starbucks, and people were calling, like, on the Democratic side of things for going after Schultz's head for a long time because they believed him to be anti-union and all kinds of stuff. So, of course, that they've gone against companies or rooted for the stock to go down because they didn't like the CEO. As a matter of fact, who else does anyone know at a company but the CEO? Like, on occasion, I think Delta, when they killed that lady's dog by putting it in with the luggage, is the only time people haven't called for the end of a company or a company stock to tank that wasn't based on the CEO. Thank you, Templeton Zalat. A fair is a veritable smorgasbord, orgasbord.
Will not get emotional, but there is nothing more emotional than when that capsule hits splashdown and you hear those words from everyone at SpaceX, not Boeing, not NASA, not the U.S. government, from everyone at SpaceX, welcome home.
I know, brought a tear to my eye. It really did. Unlike all the other times they do it.
That should be the global unifying.
That's not good. You don't want to show it the 3-year. That's where it started, way over there. Even at its height, it was starting to get back to where it started. It looks like it's headed towards territory it was in 23. That's not good.
Message of all of this, that he managed to do something that no one else right now can do.
Right now. I think that's good. I think right now is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Also, NASA, yeah.
Bezos is a little far behind, but he's not there. Virgin Galactic's a little far.
That shark is a little far behind. Did you see that guy? The heck? Look at
Bezos
this.
is a little far behind, but he's not there.
I'm kidding. It's dolphins. They're fine.
Virgin Galactic's a little far behind, but he's not there. So he literally, Elon Musk, is the only one who can do it. And I love this story. I love the splashdown. I think it's an incredible moment for innovators and dreamers all over the world.
There were some dolphins.
Yeah, because there's no innovators or dreamers that work at NASA. Sorry, NASA.
To welcome them?
There were
you see that?
dolphins welcoming home. I think the control room looks exactly like the control room of our producers. You see them back there with all over the computers. It's incredible.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You see them in the back there, our producers all over the computers. Yeah, you do. Also, what time have they moved Little House on the Prairie to a new time slot? I can't keep up with the must-see TV schedule right now, ma'am. Good Lord. Is that outfit made of gingham?
Just make one comment also. This isn't the first time we've heard an emotional welcome home like that. This is one example of it, but I believe it was when Rick Grinnell went down to get the captives in Venezuela, where he said, I'm a diplomat, I'm paraphrasing, and I'm here to take you home.
Yes.
We're seeing this happen in so many different instances.
Yeah. You mean like Brittany Griner? Or obviously not.
Well, it's a great public-private.
Or the Iranian hostages, where Biden literally bait and switched the Ayatollah. He's like, yeah, we'll give you the $6 billion. You give us our hostages. Cool. $6 billion, hostages. Hostages first. I mean, people over money. We can agree, right? People over money. Yeah, we're going to keep the money. Fuck you. That's what happened.
Collaboration that we should be celebrating. This Elon burn the car stuff, this is direct derivative of DOGE, which does not stop. I mean, he's agnostic.
Is it what? Okay. He's gone from fucking up colloquialisms to just gibberish.
This is direct derivative of DOGE, which does.
This is, I think he means direct, but direct derivative of DOGE. It wouldn't be a derivative of DOGE. It would be I guess a result of DOGE, or a consequence of fuck me. Like, this is awful.
Not stop. I mean, he's agnostic to all this criticism because he keeps publishing all the waste every day, and people are.
Yeah, and the New York Times and yours truly keep going through it and pointing out there isn't any waste. He's lying. He's taking credit for shit that Biden cut.
Freaking out about it, while they shouldn't be. It's their tax dollars being spent in nefarious ways in some cases.
Nefarious ways, yes. That whole like USAID feeding people and working towards equality in foreign countries where our diplomats have to be, some of whom are shocking women.
And wasteful in other. It's really hard to understand the psyche here and how this got politicized. Hi, I'm cutting waste out of your government. I don't care what party you're involved with. I'm saving your family money. I just saved people from outer space, and you want to burn my company to the ground?
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in simple terms like that, I mean, what were we thinking? I mean, the only way that would make sense is if that's not at all what's happening. Dumb fuck. The fuck out of here. He's just trying to help us, everybody. He's trying to help. And you're being mean. Well, I didn't realize he was trying to cut waste and abuse. I thought he was just using the waste, fraud, and abuse as cover to cut programs that he is against, largely for racist, sexist, anti-gay reasons, and then in the interim, using it as as cover to get access to our Treasury computers and everybody's private information. Fuck me, I don't even know where I got that idea.
I think there's a little readjustment necessary here, and the way to get it going.
Oh, sorry, you're going to send us to re-education camps? Is that what kind of readjustment do we need? Mr. CCP?
Let's get some images of these people who did these crimes on their way to prison for a long time. Yeah. Let's bring that back.
Yeah, it'd be a great idea. The thing that I filmed that you used the footage of happened Tuesday. I hope the person is caught. I'm not for people setting giant fires, especially to electric vehicles with batteries that cook off like that near anywhere anyone lives or works as a night watchman and is sitting in the office waiting to make his second rounds when the roof of the fucking building catches fire. I'm against that. but maybe, just maybe, catch them, try them, and then they go to jail as opposed to just fucking perp walking somebody when you don't even know who it is yet. Hey, especially, I think this person should go to jail, especially if it's Musk's operatives who are trying to save him money by faking these attacks to gain sympathy and to burn his places, burn cars up for the insurance money. What a great opportunity. Right? I have no doubt some of them are legit. I think it's crisis actors. I got to say, I don't even know that that's a real Tesla place. I think they found a building with burning cars in front of it with the word resist spray painted on it, and they just put the Tesla logo on top of it. I mean, as far as I know. I love Tesla. All right.
That's what we do in our society. We punish criminals that steal and burn, and they got to go to.
You're right. What better description of our society? We punish people that steal and burn. I had a rash. It's stole and burned. Thanks, ointment.
Jail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Well, the good news is the astronauts came home.
You're right. That is the good news. Thanks, man. Fuck you guys. I was just going to show you guys the fact that, they used my footage. And sorry, Fox, you might not like me. As a matter of fact, I know you don't like me, but you need me. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. So you said grave danger. I said, is there another kind? So anyways, I like any clip where I can get paid twice in theory. I don't know how much. I'll probably get 15 cents, but still, they asked, truth be told, the company that does it asked for my PayPal email. So I'm not expecting a large amount of money. But it's on their website and it loops. I don't know if it goes by viewership on there. Let's see how many. That video has 66,000 views. I would think I should get a, piece of it. When do you think? Right? Might have a lawsuit against Fox News coming up. Just saying. So, all right. Now, we might get to this. I don't think so, but I want to show you this because it annoys the shit out of me. Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Beck is not satisfied with the JFK files, and he's got the reveal it all: Epstein, Hillary, and a UFO. Now, why the UFO in the center of this? Besides the word all, I suppose, which is yellow, the golden all. Why that? Well, because he wants you to think Epstein and Clinton instead of who would you obviously put next to this person except his running buddy for 25 fucking years, Donald John Trump. Nobody hung out with Jeffrey Epstein more than Donald Trump. No man. The only person that hung out with him more was Ghislaine Maxwell. So, anyways, but let's get to this first. Laura Ingraham interviewed Trump, and apparently she's in tepid to lukewarm to slightly spicy water, but broth. She's in spicy ramen broth. I'm just dreaming of the meal I can have that would clear my sinuses. I'm fine. I feel good. I did sleep about 4 hours last night. Believe me, from this point on, relative normalcy. All right, here we go. Laura Ingraham, full interview. Trump reveals Canada endgame, sounds off on rogue judges. Yeah, complains that I should be able to do unconstitutional things. The president is the signer of the final. I am a founding father just by being here. P.S. Joe Biden had no power. Right.
Down with.
Also, can I just say for the record? Yeah. Do I have Yeah, I need to shrink that down. It's true. Hold on. There we go. Oh, this guy. Yeah. Shrink this down. Remember, hashtag Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Every time they say Russia, 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 Epstein, 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 kids. Yeah. Just saying. Also, I thought I put the nut warning in here, and I don't know where it went. Nope, that's not the one. I apologize. I've got so much work to do once I'm not otherwise indisposed. All right, you're right. I don't have any private time. Let's do this.
President Trump in the diplomatic room at the White House. We talked DOGE.
The diplomatic room. The other empty room with no fucking furniture in it. What? Where'd the table go? What? So let me get this right. If you hadn't brought those two chairs into the fucking room, the diplomat room is just like a lobby?
China, illegal immigration. He even told us what he sees for Barron's future. But we start tonight with the big news, his conversation with Vladimir Putin. Mr. President, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We got a readout.
How did she get taller than him? Seriously, what happened? What's happening? I mean, I understand she's got one of those bump filler things on her hair. I see the late night ads, and I just can't bring myself to do it. I don't want to look too, Ricky Rocket. But
Of your call with Vladimir Putin, and it was a fairly optimistic take. Vladimir Putin agreed to a ceasefire immediately on energy and infrastructure,
which is not a ceasefire,
but not to a 30-day ceasefire.
So not to a ceasefire. I think it's just say not to a ceasefire. Okay, I won't hit the power plants, civilian targets. But what am I going to say? Yes, I'm going to hit civilian targets. This call is being recorded, shithole. Tell us what happened.
Well, you have a situation. We have a lot of guns pointing at each other foolishly.
Is that how war normally works?
Because it would have never happened if I were president. That was not a war that was supposed to happen.
It wasn't supposed to. You're right. It wasn't supposed to be a war. It was just supposed to be an invasion and a takeover.
And it did happen. So that's where we are. And right now.
It did? Are you sure?
You have a lot of guns pointing at each other. And a ceasefire without going a little bit further would have been tough. Russia has the advantage, as you know. They have encircled about 2,500 soldiers.
That's Kursk, asshole. That's in their country. They've been, hold on. Ukraine has like 750,000 soldiers. They've encircled 2,500? Yeah. Week to week, dum-dum.
They're nicely encircled, and that's not good.
I see. That's not good to be nicely encircled? I don't know. I kind of like to be nicely encircled. Maybe even a little roughly encircled. What?
And we want to get it over with. Look, we're doing this. There are no Americans involved. There could be if you end up in World War III over this, which is so ridiculous. But, strange things happen.
They don't just happen. It's a series of occurrences. Like you're president now. If it happens on your watch, it will be your responsibility. It didn't just happen.
And I think we had a great call. It lasted almost 2 hours. Talked about a lot of things.
The first hour you were on hold.
And toward getting it to peace. And we talked about other things also.
Was there not?
I'm sorry, you weren't able to solve it all in one phone call in 1 hour because you knew exactly what to say. So you had to make fucking chit-chat.
Negotiables.
Listen to me. I think Kevin O'Leary's rubbing off me. Chit-chat? Chit-chat. What is that? It's not good. It tastes weird.
Mentioned by Putin. It was reported that I think the Kremlin media actually stated that he demanded an immediate cessation of aid to Ukraine in order to get to this multi-step deal.
No, he didn't. We didn't talk about aid. Actually, we didn't talk about aid at all. We talked about a lot of things, but aid was never discussed.
Yeah, because you don't consider weapons aid. Is that what you mean? Or are you trying to you think that other people don't think of military aid as aid? Or Maybe he thinks you go to the club giving them AIDS. What?
In the readout, it also stated that both sides want to get to an improved bilateral relationship, the United States and Russia.
That's true.
How can we trust that Vladimir Putin actually wants that, in that he's not also being influenced at the same time by his...
He's got his, excuse me, you're asking me an actual question face on? You're not supposed to ask me questions that need a real answer, lady.
Close friend, President Xi of China.
Well, look, we have our own discussions with President Xi of China, and he wants to get along also, and he's looking to get along, and we're looking to get along with him.
Yes, and a long little doggy while we're at it. We'll get along. Everybody gets along. We just got to get along. Why can't we all get along? Get along, little doggy.
We will. We have a problem of trade where we have a very big imbalance with China.
Yeah, because we buy a lot of wholesale goods from them, slap a label on them, and sell them to the rest of the world and to our own people at a jacked up price because drop shipping is a thing. And
with Russia, we don't have that much trade, and they'd like to. We'd like.
Yeah, oh, totally. I can't wait to get a Russian fucking phone. Babe, is your phone always on? Yeah, and the camera red light is always on. Why is it laughing? I just got a text message. This is your phone. There's an open window on 3rd floor. You should probably shut. Oh, I said, shit, you can't have a draft. That's inefficient. Excuse me, hon.
To also, they have
and scene.
Very valuable things for us, including very big forms of rare earth. They have a lot of earth. You know, they have.
They have a lot of earth. Because it's a big country. They have a lot of earth. Shit.
A big chunk of real estate, actually the biggest in the world for a country by far. And on that, they have things that we could use, frankly, and that other people could.
Vodka, hot chicks, models, you know, douchebags with open shirt who think that the Dan Aykroyd and Steve Martin sketch in SNL was not comedy, but the way to be.
I think that President Xi would like to get along, and I think Russia wants to get along with the United
Yes, we're all going to get along. And that's the long and short of it.
States. I also think we're a much different country than we were just a few months ago. We're a country.
Well, we're poorer. That's true.
That's now respected. We were not respected. We were being laughed at. We had incompetent leadership. This was a war, as an example, that would have never happened if I were president.
So you don't think it would have happened if you were president? So, real quick, if it wouldn't have happened if you were president when it started, why isn't it stopping now that you are? Why aren't they like, oh shit, Dad's home. Everybody get back in bed and hide. He's gonna, if he knows we're up, we're fucked, right? Why would that be? If it wouldn't have started with you just being in office, why didn't it just stop once you came back? Oh, because it was always the plan. You were just going to help him, and you fucked up.
Part of your desire to forge this new relationship with Russia also impacted by Russia's closer relationship since you left office in 2021 with China, because I think you talked about before the desire to box out China from that part of the world and have a closer relationship with Russia.
So as a student of history, which I am, and
oh no. Oh no. As we all remember in history class, I can't remember if it was a fellow student or the teacher who said something about me make pee-pee in your Coke. I've been following Chinese history for a long time, and no. He's going to say, people say you shouldn't let those two get together.
I've watched it all. The first thing you learn is you don't want Russia and China to get together.
That's the first thing you learn in history class? Okay. Why? Hey, asshole, they did get together. They're both the same. They were the same Soviet communist structure the entire length of the USSR. Dum dum.
With that being said, no, it's not a big part of it, but maybe that'll happen or maybe it won't.
True leadership.
Obama really forced them together through energy and bad energy policies, and what he did, so many different things.
Yeah, but mainly what bad energy policies?
He forced a marriage which would never have taken place. It was not a natural. And for one reason, Russia has tremendous land, a lot of land, and
yeah, a lot of it used to be China's. One of the big concerns right now is that if Putin falls, China is going to literally launch an attack and reclaim the land that they lost during the Russo-Sino War.
China doesn't have enough land. Russia has a much smaller population.
Sorry, China doesn't have what?
And a lot of land, and China doesn't have enough land. Russia.
Enough for what? Huh? What does he think? Like the whole country is like Shanghai? Like I want to say like 90% of the Chinese population is in the east in the cities, and the rural areas are just fucking vacant. They got plenty of land, dum-dum.
It's a much smaller population than China.
So Russia's got a lot of land and a smaller population. China has less land and a bigger population. So if they get together, China's going to take land from Russia. Ah, I see. Okay. That's clearly what he's thinking about. All right.
And it's sort of it was always a natural enemy situation.
Especially when they were at war, I guess. Yeah.
They're probably friendly now, but we're going to be friendly with both. I think we're going to be friendly with both. China needs us in terms of trade very badly, but we have to straighten out the deficit. We have now more than $1 trillion deficit.
Trade deficit.
Deficit with China. It's not even believable.
It's totally believable. We buy a lot of wholesale shit from there. We don't have a consumer deficit with China of any real margin that we wouldn't, as the biggest economy in the world, wouldn't have with anybody. We have a wholesale deficit. We have like the shit that's bought and made in bulk in China that's sold over here to people by Americans to other Americans.
And we're going to be doing something about that.
Something. What? I don't know.
And with Russia, they would like to have some of our economic power.
Well, they can't have it. How about no? Was that on the goddamn table during the negotiations? Okay, if you only take half of Ukraine, I'll give you some of our economic power. I think he means to be in the SWIFT system again, but I have to say I had being on the cruise ship for a week. My idiot to English translator fell overboard, and I'm out of practice doing it just off the cuff.
The criticism that you've heard since really 2015.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Is that you have more in common with Vladimir Putin than you do with globalist leaders, maybe some NATO leaders, and in this case, with Zelensky. You're both nationalists. Zelensky's more of a globalist. How do you...
Putin's also a serial sexual assaulter, has, girlfriends and women, and, he's in different apartments in different countries, and had a relatively low salary, but magically has billions of dollars. God knows where it came from. You have that in common. And you're both, both of you look like elderly testicles peeking out of the leg of shorts.
Respond to that criticism.
Well, I am a nationalist, but I'm a nationalist for the United States.
Oh, I see. So that would be different from how he's a nationalist then. Thanks for making that important distinction. Yeah, so when she says globalist, she means Jew.
Not for anybody else. And it's interesting because there's nobody been tougher on Russia than me. I'm the one that pointed out Nord.
No. That you had to do the sanctions that the Senate and the House and Senate put on them. You didn't have a choice. You held out as long as you could. You expelled fewer diplomats, per capita than other European countries, and you were mad when we equaled the number. Like, no, you weren't. You might have even come close to being able to bullshit people about that since, but Biden obviously ratcheted all this shit up. There are more sanctions on Russia now than there were when you left. Period. End of story.
Stream 2, and I stopped it. Nord Stream's the biggest pipeline, I guess, in the world, taking care of all of Europe. And
no, it isn't. It never went online. Nord Stream 1 exists, and then there's a bunch of other ones, one that goes through Kazakhstan and Georgia. That's why Russia attacked Georgia, so that they could salami slice their way into Georgian territory, so that they could claim transit fees for an area that they had stolen as the pipeline from Kazakhstan went through there.
It was being built from before I got there.
Okay, he's been taking English lessons from Kevin O'Leary again.
And they were on the way. It was going to be, and I stopped it. It was just stone cold dead. I stopped it in its tracks. That's not somebody that's being particularly nice. It was the biggest project they ever had. I had it stopped.
I'd like to say for the record, you didn't have it stopped if it could be restarted. Secondly, according to all the assholes who like you online, Biden blew it up. I mean, literally blew it up. You, all the people on your side think Biden used the U.S. military to blow it up. Russia blew it up there on their own, by the way.
When Biden got in, he immediately approved it, like immediately.
Not like immediately. And again, they couldn't insure it. A lot of issues. Like, it's one of those, go ahead, waste your money, but it ain't going to happen.
First things he did in office was he approved Nord Stream 2.
He doesn't have the right to approve Nord Stream 2. It's just business with Germany, and we would sanction people who did business with them about these things. That's not approving it.
Never heard of Nord Stream until I was president. I said, what are you doing? You mean you're building a pipeline to Germany and various places in Europe?
Yeah, right next to the first one they built. That's why it's Nord Stream 2.
Paying them billions of dollars a month, and then we're paying a lot of money to fight them. This is not going to work out well.
Yeah, but we weren't paying billions of dollars at the time to fight them. We are now. That's why we blew it up, I guess.
And it stopped, and then Biden approved it, which was a really stupid thing to do, but he did it. And Putin actually said to me, if you're my friend, I'd hate to see you as my enemy. He said that very strongly.
Really, it was hard to, like, obviously it was difficult for you to hear over the pain and the tensing up of his actual fist in your ass.
I had, with all of that, I had a very good relationship with Putin. I had a very good relationship with President Xi, a very good relationship with...
Yeah. I mean, we saw it. When COVID started happening, you're like, I trust him. He's doing a professional job. I mean, there are compilation videos of this asshole telling us all what a great job Xi Jinping was doing to curtail, and not only that, not only is he doing great getting rid of COVID, but they've got nothing as far as death toll. We totally believe their numbers. And it's going to be gone in the spring with the sunshine, when I don't know how it works, when it's on a banister and it's gone. And if you just inject some bleach into your lungs and shove a light bulb up your ass. I got that. Hey, Xi Jinping told me that. That's apparently, he said he said something like ancient Chinese secret. I don't know. Anyways, or am I remembering an ad from the 80s? Anyway, he said that, and I trust him,
Jong-un of North Korea.
Who continued to make nuclear missiles the entire time you were in office?
Good relationships. And that's a positive thing. That's not a negative thing. But at the same time, I'm about our country. So that's why we're talking about tariffs. We'll be taking in trillions of dollars.
I want to get to the tariffs in a minute because we're going to first hit the other big news of the day, which was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court issued what a rare statement about your suggestion on Truth that you posted earlier today that Judge James Boasberg should be impeached after he ordered those deportation flights to El Salvador halted, essentially turned around. The Chief Justice said it was more than two centuries. We understood that essentially impeachment was for very rare circumstances and not an appropriate response to rulings you disagree with. What's your reaction to the courts stepping in to make a statement here? They didn't make a statement when Joe Biden, decided to forgive all those student loans.
Well, yes, they did. They heard arguments. They disagreed. They ruled, and Biden followed their ruling. And then they attempted to do it another way so that they could do it legally. They tried to, if the court ruled out one pathway, they said, okay, we'll try other pathways to try and get what we want to get done and see what's open to us legally. They didn't have to issue a statement like that because Biden never called for the judges that initially put the hold on it to be impeached, even though they were red state assholes who really don't give a shit about student debt. I don't even know why this is even ballpark. And by the way, there must be some sort of if you just say Biden would have never, or this is so much better than Biden, he hears Obama when you say Biden, so he likes it. Just make sure you compare everything he's doing to it's better than whatever Biden might have or would have or could have done.
He didn't mention my name in the statement. I just saw it quickly. He didn't mention my name, but many people have called for his impeachment, the impeachment of this judge. I don't know who the judge is, but he's radical.
Well, if you don't know who he is, then why would you say he's a radical left lunatic, blah, blah, blah. You don't even know his name. You don't know who he is. Then why would you call for the impeachment of something? Because you're an asshole. I don't even know why I'm asking these rhetorical questions, because obviously this is just classic Trump jabber.
Left, he was Obama appointed, and he actually said we shouldn't be able to take criminals, killers, murderers, horrible, the worst people, gang members.
No, he didn't.
Gang leaders, that we shouldn't be allowed to take them out of our country.
No, that's not what he said at all. He said you got to let people know who you're taking out of the country, because you can't just disappear people out of the country and say, trust me, bro. If they turned out to be horrible gang members and criminals and you had extradition, relationships with these countries, or even if you just quickly made them, the president could make an instant treaty with a one fucking phone call, even if we didn't have extradition with the country, to send them back to that place and go, we're sending them back. This court would still allow you to do it. Of course you can take them out. We don't even know that's who they were. There's no list of names. There's no list of what crimes they might have been about. Like, at this point, they could be anyone. That's the issue. Yeah.
Well, that's a presidential job. That's not for a local judge to be making that determination. And I thought it was terrible. In fact, he said when they were well on their way, there was an order issued, as I understand it, to bring them back or to not let them go or something.
Jesus Christ, man. He's the king of knowing everything about shit he's never heard anything about. Can I just say for the record, there's a very strong chance that those planes were empty or had nowhere near the number of people they're saying were in them. Because that's one of the issues he has. There's so many fewer actual criminal aliens in the country that they can't, they don't have enough to fill a bunch of planes and buses and shit like that. That's why they were using military planes, to make it look like there were hundreds of people being taken out of the country. If they turned the plane around and they had to make a real record of who was on it, and you're like, okay, what? All right, complain. There were 6 people. It was 6 people. That's and I tell you what. Do I know that's what went down? No, neither do you. And that's what that was the problem that the judge brought up. Nobody knows who was on there. They could have been American citizens. They could have been a Blackwater style death squad that Trump extrajudicially sent to another country, and they used, immigrant flight plans to cover it. You don't know. Understand? So, in this particular instance, pardon me. I'm just going to say there were no criminal aliens on that plane at all. He's flying empty planes to South America to claim he's getting rid of bad guys. And the reason they don't list him, because wouldn't you think this asshole would have a problem bragging about this is so-and-so from Venezuela. Here's this picture of him with his fucking face tattoos. We found him when working in on a dairy farm milking cows, and on the weekends he was slicing up teenagers for not distributing fentanyl to school children, right? You think they wouldn't show us? Yes, I'm chewing gum because it helps with my sore throat. My voice, my throat isn't actually sore, but it's dry and I'm trying to. Sorry if it feels like I'm in school or something. Okay. Up your nose with a rubber hose. Is that mature enough for you? So, I'm just going to call it. The next reporter that talks to Stephen Miller needs to say to him, there are those who are saying there's no one on those flights, and these are publicity stunts. And when he goes, who's saying that? HAL Sparks is saying that. HAL Sparks is calling you out. I did. Me. My name, my show, my face, not some fucking anime, avatar on Twitter or some rando. Me. Directly. And now that I'm saying it, maybe some of you might ask the same questions. And therefore, many are saying, many are asking, many tend to believe that you are not actually sending people out of the country. You are flying empty planes to other countries, or maybe you're sending them military aid, but you're using this as cover, and that there's no criminal aliens on these planes at all. Because if we don't know who's on them, how do we know anybody's on them? I'm not ready to jump to the idea that they might be innocent. I'm not even ready to jump to the idea that there's any fucking body in them. How about that? Just cut right to it. It's an empty plane. You want to prove me wrong? Give us a list who's on the fucking plane. Start listing the people. And I guarantee that leverage will work way better than saying you might be sending innocent people and American citizens, because they don't give a fuck. They don't care. If they look foreign, they're foreign. That's how these assholes operate. Yeah, prove me wrong. They're ghost flights. They're buying up Trump sneakers to make them look like people are buying them and flying them in planes down to South America and dumping them in a fucking river. That's what I say is happening. For the record. Period. I don't want to hear any shit about these are the worst and terrible people. No, there's nobody on those fucking planes. There's the flight crew, and then they're turning around and coming back. It might be contraband. Maybe they're going down to pick up some flake for Don Jr. And they're supposed to, the flight crew doesn't know anything except they're supposed to pick up a package and drop it off at the airport near Mar-a-Lago, where it will be put in a van under presidential seal and driven to the mirrored ballroom in the basement of Epstein's house where Trump magically still has a key. Prove me wrong. Dude, it's fucking March 19th. Have you seen the Hunter Biden's laptop? Has that shown up? Kash Patel's been in there for, what, a fucking month? The physical laptop, the actual anything, the record of actually having it. It's the FBI. There's 9 records deep of anything they actually took in. You don't think if it was actually there, they'd be like, here it is. Fuck you. Boom. Right? Nope. So that's it. Again, I don't even give them the fucking benefit of the doubt that that there are people in these, period.
And this is not something that the country would stand for. These people, they were let in here by an
They're not people. I don't believe they're people. These packages.
incompetent president who had open borders and any.
Wait, how do you know if they're the worst of the worst? How do you know they've been clipped, I suppose? Thank you, Ali Osher. They've been, if they're the worst of the worst, they must have been in prison and found guilty of something already, right? Charged, found guilty of a crime. You know they're guilty. You know who they are, which means they've been through they were either in jail or in prison when you got them, which means Biden put them there.
Anybody throughout the world could come in. And we were given murderers. We were given people from mental institutions and prisons.
The judges
we were given them?
Essentially saying, excuse me, Mr. President, that there still is a process in place. You can read.
You're doing it again. He's getting butthole mouth, and he gets it whenever a woman pushes back.
Between the lines. It hasn't been a full ruling yet. And I know the Justice Department is appealing this on a couple of different grounds, but this is leading people to wonder whether there are court orders that you will defy because you believe that the judge has no jurisdiction or they're political questions and not justiciable at all. And what would you say to that? Are there circumstances where you would defy a court order?
Well, I think that, number one, nobody's been through more courts than I have.
Oh, God.
I think nobody knows the courts any better than I have. I would say.
You're not a lawyer. Why don't you just go talk to my lawyer?
The chief judge does, but nobody knows them better than I have. And
what do you mean? You know where the coffee is? You know where the nearest shitter is, so Walt can hose you down.
What they've done to me, I've had the worst judges. I've had.
What the fuck? This isn't you, motherfucker. This is whether or not you're taking human beings out of the country that have gone through due process. It ain't about you, dummy.
Crooked judges. I have judges.
That is true, though. Eileen Cannon is a crooked judge, I would say. I mean, it's his opinion, not mine.
That valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million because that benefited his case, because he wanted to see me convicted of something. I have judges.
Just something.
That were had relatives making millions and millions of dollars on the election, ruling on the election.
But going forward,
I had judges that were so corrupt.
Is that?
Yeah, and by the way, these judges have nothing to do with your personal cases, you weirdo. This is about whether or not you can scoop up citizens, if indeed you are, and I would argue you are not, and spirit them out of the country and not tell people who they are. And we just have to assume they're non-citizens and take your word for it, which is not how, I mean, that would be kidnapping normally. Just saying, even if the person is awful, it's still kidnapping.
We all know
I never did defy a court order.
And you wouldn't in the future?
No, you can't do that. However, we have bad judges. We have very bad judges.
Boo, fuckity who, and yes, you did.
And these are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge. The judge that we're talking about, you look at his other rulings, I mean, rulings unrelated, but having to do with me.
Wait, you don't know who this guy is. You don't know what he's about. You don't know much about the case. You only saw it in glancing. But his other rulings, Jesus.
He's a lunatic.
Okay, well, sure. Okay. Well, then why did you just say that at the top? Obviously. Well, clearly he was let in from a foreign country, from an insane asylum by Biden, and now he's a judge. What is this country coming to?
He wants details of when flights departed and trying to, I guess they seem to be trying to lay the predicate for your administration having defied a court order. Now, you all have said you haven't given specific times, and you filed a motion in court, your Justice Department, to prevent any more information getting out about specific times of flights. So that seems to be where this is going. Do you have faith that the Supreme Court ultimately will rule in your favor in this case?
I do, because the job...
Because I created a court that likes black sites.
...of getting people out of our country that are murderers, that are...
Cool. That's not what you're doing. You're flying empty planes down to South America and flying back with packages for Don Jr., as far as we know.
Absolutely the worst.
Now, granted, it might not all be cocaine. You might actually have children on them as well.
People, the drug lords, are causing such problems in this country. You know, drug lords came in, the biggest of them. They left other countries to come in here. They came through an open border. They're making millions of dollars destroying people's lives, killing people. And that's...
Didn't you pardon that lady who had like one of the biggest weed farms, and weed dealerships in pre-legalization, I think, in Georgia, and cocaine, and had hitmen killing for her to secure her territory, which is really the problem. I think most people have a problem with that part, not even the weed part, but the fact that, as a drug lord herself, there are guys in jail that helped her who are still in jail now. You pardon her, but not them, even though she ordered them to do what they did. Maybe? No? All right.
Presidential thing. We're supposed to be getting them out or getting them brought to justice. We had a...
who?
Judge. I would call him a rogue judge. You can call him whatever you want. I know nothing about...
Yeah, he knows nothing about this rogue judge.
I heard about this very late in the process, and I said, that's a strange order. You have local judges, local federal judges, period.
Local federal judges, yeah. Just some grandstanding Okie in the middle of Louisiana. Now, I don't let them government revenues come down here and tell us how to live our lives. I do invoke right now using this court order. I may be the court emeritus Shire Reeve of Lackawanna Socket Wrench County in Louisiana, but this order holds. He can take it up to the Supreme Court and tell them to wipe their ass with it. I'm no clack.
DAs and prosecutors, DAs, state attorney generals.
You mean like the ones that sued other states to change their election results?
Want to really take over, I think.
Hold on. What was that again? Hold on, I have to see what that. In the chat, if I were a drug lord, I would stay home in my freaking villa by the sea. Yeah, I think so too. I think the drug lords themselves. I mean, again, you have to understand. Trump has seen like half a Steven Seagal movie and part of Scarface and all of Silence of the Lambs. And his entire cultural reference comes from that window into American life. And maybe one full Hunter episode.
Some of it's for the publicity. They love the publicity. All of a sudden, they're on the front page of every newspaper, but they have no right to be.
Someone's projecting.
When we come back, President Trump...
You had to do an edit there, didn't you?
...reacts to the latest DOGE news, and it's a court ruling. More of my interview with the president next.
Very exciting.
Now more of my interview with President.
But will there be more of your interview or more on my interview with the moron?
Trump. Moving on to DOGE, Judge Theodore Chuang is a federal district court judge in Maryland.
Chuang
Has ruled against the Trump administration's efforts, Mr. President, to shut down USAID, ordering the government on an accelerated basis to basically reinstate the agency's statutory functions.
She's reading this from a teleprompter over his shoulder. I would just like to say that. Not in the camera itself, but she's reading this. You can't have notes that this is what happened in your, and I mean, you know what? This is unfair of me. I apologize. I shouldn't have. She's just started. She's so new.
Your reaction to this development?
Look at the fraud that we've caught. We've caught so much fraud.
So much fraud. Oh, yeah, the fraud. Oh, my God. Tell us about the fraud.
Much waste. So many employees.
So much. There's so much waste. I barely have time to talk about the fraud other than to say so much.
That never showed up to work. And we have a judge from a very liberal state who ruled like that. So bad for our country.
So I guess they closed the department. They're going to have to
Well,
reopen the department.
we'll be appealing it, I guess. Not I guess. I guarantee you. We will be appealing it. We have rogue judges that are destroying our country.
By making people at USAID go back to work at a department that Congress has to dissolve, the president can't. This motherfucker wants a line item veto for everything in the country. Get rid of that airport. I don't like that county. Like, this is not how it works, fuckwad.
Do you believe that at this point, given the totality of these lawsuits, it's a cavalcade of lawsuits, that your administration could be further hampered, your agenda could be slowed down? They're throwing monkey wrenches at you with these judicial rulings.
Well, we have to go through an appellate process. That takes a long time. We have a judge that...
Do you have time?
We have a judge...
That's the point.
We have time. We're going to be making a lot of money because of tariffs. The good news is we've got it on... We're going to very soon be on an...
Well, then why do you need to shut down USAID? Why do you have to go after waste, fraud, and abuse if you're going to make all this money from fucking tariffs? Right? For real. Why would you have to cut the... If they're going to take in so much money from tariffs, it's going to just be, oh my God, so rich, we might not even need an income tax anymore. Why would you have to cut anything? Why, I mean, you could take your fucking time, right? You could go through it line by line. You could skate it. Just go, we made a list of stuff that probably doesn't need to work. Get to it when you can. Honestly, we're too busy counting money from the external revenue service.
Keel. We're going to be taking in a lot of money. The Trump card, the gold card, whatever they want to call it, it's okay.
The ass card.
I mean, whatever's going to sell better is fine with me. It'd be nice to get a piece, but I don't get a piece. Okay, I get nothing out of it. All I do is want to make this country successful.
Yeah, you do. Because you want no tax on tips. And what these guys pay you for getting their $5 million gold card, you're obviously going to go, hey, if you want to stick around, if you want it to last, you got to do some business with me on the side. Talk to my son. Of course you're going to get something out of it, you weirdo.
That's well again. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money.
No, we're not.
Have car companies that are building here who 6 months ago were going to build in Mexico, massive plants. They're building them in the United States.
Yes, big, empty, automated factories with 12 employees. Cool. It's like, you want a factory in your town? Hey, remember that factory that used to employ everybody? Yeah, fuck that. We're putting in a giant refrigerator. It's the size of a skyscraper, and only a couple people can open it. Isn't it shiny? What, does anybody work at? No. A couple of, maybe some jobs, We're going to pay somebody who's going to physically turn the light on and off when you open the door. But it never happens. So he'll fly in once a year for the ceremony.
Honda is going to Indiana. We have them opening up in Michigan. It's amazing what's happening.
But for federal judges, district court judges, to order a sitting president to reinstate fired employees, you're the chief executive officer of the United States.
Yeah, it's not a business, dummy. You can't fire people that the board put in place on a company that, the CEO can't just wantonly, most of the time, can't wantonly fire people that the board has, especially when they have equal power. If the board has voting power on a, along with the CEO and the CFO, for example, or let's say the attorneys for the company have a say in it. That would be the equivalent here. You wouldn't be able to do anything without asking both the other parties first at all.
Order that these agencies
Fired
be reviewed.
employees, many of whom didn't even report to work.
How do you know? How do you know? What about the ones that did report to work and you're just firing them because other people didn't show up for work? Let me get this right. You're firing everybody to get back at the ones that didn't show up, including and especially the ones who were working and were probably in this fantasy land that you're created in your head. Were doing the work of the people that didn't show up. So those people should be fired. Also, he just signed an executive order saying that DOGE can't fire anybody anymore. That's up to the department heads. It's because they were all bitching. Even Sean Duffy.
Many of whom were scamming this country.
No, they weren't.
And you see the same thing. I could read them off, and I did during.
No, you didn't.
Various speeches. I read off deal after deal after deal, all big scams.
Has nothing to do with the employees of USAID.
And we have a guy that wants to make a name for himself. In many cases, they're just grandstanders. They want to make a name for themselves.
By being on the right side of history and knowing law and being a judge that actually stands up for the law. I mean, it's a heck of a way to make a name for yourself. I mean, it seems like a good plan.
We'll appeal it, and hopefully we will meet with reasonable appeals. I've won great cases on appeals.
Yeah,
yeah, and you've lost a lot, too.
Maybe people weren't fired. Maybe they were temporarily put on suspended. So we'll see how this plays out. But
maybe that's what happened. He doesn't know. He's outsourced all the work, dummy. His job is to sign pages from Project 2025 and let Elon Musk do whatever he fucking wants on orders from Peter Thiel and JD Vance.
He's very unhappy with what happened at USAID.
Well, he shouldn't be. You know what he should do? He should really look at where the money went. They don't ever want to do that. The Democrats always talk about, our Constitution's been violated. The one thing that
it is a concern,
never talk about is where did these billions of dollars go? They never want to look, because when you see where the money went and the scams, you don't even have to see anything. Just look at
You do need to see things.
Heading and the scam.
Hold on. You just need to look at what? Hold on. You don't need to do anything. You just need to look at what?
Scams. You don't even have to see anything. Just look at the heading.
Just look at the heading. What he means is, in some of these cases, they say diversity training. That's what he's talking about. And you can have your opinion about that, but it's you can think it's unfair. You can feel like emotionally it's a scam or something like that. But it ain't. It's a contract that was written, and it's either got to be paid out or justly terminated. And if it's justly terminated, it still probably has a payout attached to it, which means whatever work they were doing, you could go, I don't want that work done anymore. Fine. But it wasn't a scam. Period. Yeah, like the transgenic mice. Yeah.
And the scam that they've created. And a judge like him will never look at that. They'll just say, you want to, it sounds so nice. USAID, isn't it beautiful? But it's a whole big scam, Laura.
It is. It's just, look at it. It says aid, and I don't like what they're helping, so it's a scam.
And a judge like that is so bad for our country.
Well, it'll be interesting.
Just so bad for our country or destroying our country. That's going to be the refrain.
To see whether you're able to shrink the size of this government. Every Republican president has claimed a desire to. Even Obama said we have to find waste, fraud, and abuse. But you're actually doing it, and the judges are trying to stop you.
By the way, we're doing it at levels never seen before.
Well, No, you're not doing it. Well, I guess the levels never seen before is like not at all, because you don't get points for getting rid of fraudulent payments or whatever when you just patently get rid of all payments in something. Because ultimately the damage you do by getting rid of the stuff that has value outweighs the savings from the shit that we might have been getting ripped off on. if you don't do the actual fucking work.
Are setting fire to Teslas all across the country. Another horrible incident happened in Las Vegas last night. The FBI
She plays my footage.
is on the scene investigating, and there's an ongoing investigation.
Play my footage, Laura. Play it. Make me make money twice on this.
Being led by Pam Bondi. In what you've seen so far, do you consider what's happening an act of domestic political terrorism against one of your...
Wait a minute. You and your FBI say that our biggest threat is domestic terrorism, American citizens. So you're going to use the Justice Department to go after American citizens because that's the biggest threat we're facing. We got China, we got Russia, we got all this stuff. We got Hamas, we got Hezbollah and Iran, all this stuff. But apparently Americans are the biggest threat. This is domestic terrorism is the biggest scary thing.
Allies.
So Elon is a patriot. And again, I hardly knew Elon.
Yeah, of South Africa.
Until the...
Oh, by the way, apartheid South Africa, not South Africa now.
Election. And he turned out that he liked me better than he liked these radical lunatics that were in it, better than Kamala, better than Joe, because he's an intelligent person. He backed me, and he went, and he got very much involved. He thought
he backed me, and he won. Listen to that. Talk about, we don't get a lot of, because there's so many slips that come out of him that are just dumb. We miss the Freudian ones occasionally.
Person. He backed me, and he went, and he got very much.
He backed me, and he won. VP Trump telling it like it is.
Involved. He thought he actually would go around saying, if Trump doesn't win, our country is over.
But do you consider?
Right. So that was enough for you to give him permission to have access to everyone's private financial data.
It's an act of domestic terrorism.
I think so.
Why?
I think that if and when they catch the people, and I hope they do, the good thing is they have a lot of cameras in those places, and they've caught some already having to do.
Well, and then they've got some citizen camera people that have a great eye, I'm just saying.
That I think that you will find out that they're paid by people that are very highly political on the left.
Meanwhile, it's because of Elon.
Or, I love Tesla. Right, thanks, Steve. Or it could just be Elon paying people to pretend to gain sympathy and to save his company some money because he's not selling cars by just setting them on fire and getting the insurance. I mean, it'd be pretty easy. Here's what I'm going to say. The planes that Trump is flying to South America are empty when they leave, and when they're returning, they're full of children and cocaine. I want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong. And any unsolved Tesla fire was started on direct orders from Elon Musk, clearly. I want to be proven wrong, but I mean, how can you come to any other conclusion? Well, you got Trump, you got Pam Bondi, you got Kash Patel, the legal system, you got Tulsi Gabbard as head of the DNI. The legal system and the intel in the United States has never been headed up by more competent and intelligent, smart, and caring, and patriotic people ever. Not ever. No one's even close. They're the most qualified people ever. And if they can't catch these people, that's because someone's telling them not to. That's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense.
On Musk, everything he did with SpaceX, that those astronauts stranded for 9 months, they're finally coming home. Mr. President, your reaction to what's unfolding?
So when I came in office, I said, Elon, we got to get them out. You have a rocket ship handy?
And he was like, what?
How many people have a rocket?
Oh, you mean the mission we've been setting up since last August?
And Biden left them up. He abandoned them. We could have done this sooner.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Biden. He really just had he just hated astronauts. I mean, it's not his fault. When he was a kid, the Wright brothers were burned as witches.
But Biden didn't want to because he was embarrassed by what happened. So they were up there. They were supposed to be.
Why would you not want to? Why would you not want to get them down if it was? If you're embarrassed, would you get them down sooner? I mean, the idea would be that you would send somebody up and they weren't ready. You'd force Boeing up and the thing would blow up like the Challenger and have that on you. one would think.
For a few days, they were there for many months. And now they're coming back. But think of it, Elon's able to do that with his genius, and
with other people's genius.
You have people
and taxpayer money.
Hate it.
And NASA. No. They don't hate that. They don't hate SpaceX and like rocket ships and NASA, any of that stuff. They hate the Nazi salutes and the eugenics talk and the brain chipping and the fact that he can't have a government, a company that has profits if it doesn't have a government contractors and kept afloat by government loans. And then thinks government workers don't do anything and are lazy. Anybody who takes a government paycheck is a fucking mooch off the taxpayer, except him.
I really believe these are people that hate our country.
Well, simple minds. It's more than just a band.
Big problem. But you know, there aren't so many of them. There are many more that love our country.
Great. Good to know. 1-to-1.
They love our country now more than they have maybe ever in their lives. There's never been a movement like MAGA, like America First, call it whatever you want to call it.
The Fourth Reich?
This is the greatest movement in the history of politics.
What's the next stop for
so I guess when you go, it's over? Cool.
astronauts? Are they going to be coming to the White House?
No, they're going to, number one, have to get better. You know, when you're up there and you have no pull in your muscle, you have no gravity, you can lift 1,000 pounds like this.
You have no pull on your muscle.
They have to get better. It's going to be a little bit tough for them. It's not easy. You know, they're up a long time. And when they do, they'll come to
Mark Kelly would like a word.
The Oval Office.
Now more of my interview with President Trump.
Moron. You mispronounced moron. I'm just
They have a $60 billion trade deficit. China has like a $300 billion last year. You said it goes up to, when you add it all up, it's $1 trillion.
Way over 100, Canada. And here's my problem with Canada. Canada was meant to be the 51st state because we subsidize Canada by...
We don't subsidize Canada at all. They're a smaller country. We buy more from them than they buy from us. That's a trade deficit. That's normal. There's no fucking... You know how rich Canada would have to be as a fucking country to buy more from us than we buy from them ever?
$200 billion a year. We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We have a lot of lumber.
We need their fucking donuts. Jelly coming. Hold on. I almost feel like
He's you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
To our Canadian brethren and sistren, I love you and I want to have your babies.
Take off, eh?
Okay. I think I have one more.
I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the Force, you knob.
Okay.
We freed it up, as you know, last week. We're freeing it up so that you can actually cut down a tree without being, given the death penalty.
I think he thinks that's sarcasm. When he means hyperbole, also fuck off.
Because what these radical environmentalists have done to our country, but we freed it up.
Yeah, that's why there are no wooden-based homes in the United States anymore.
We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything. We certainly don't want their automobiles. They make a lot of millions of automobiles are sent in. I'd rather have them made in Michigan. I'd rather have them made in South Carolina or any one of our...
You're tougher with Canada than you are with some of our biggest adversaries.
Only because it's meant to be our 51st state. And
okay.
Straight?
But but listen to this for a second.
We need their territory. They have territorial advantage. We're not going to let them get close to China.
Look,
right?
I deal with every country, indirectly or directly. One of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada.
So fucking weird. Why? Because they just don't take it?
People that, now this was Trudeau, the people that good old Justin, I call him Governor Trudeau, his people were nasty. And they weren't telling the truth. They never told the truth.
They laughed at him, and Melania thought Trudeau was cute. That's what this is about. And Macron had the same problem, but his wife is older, so Trump didn't feel like there was a, there could be a swinging thing going back and forth, I guess. But Melania thought a lot of Macron as well, but Macron's like a broier dude, so he did the whole fucking French handshake. Give me that slimmest squeeze on your fish there. Come on, man. And he couldn't, like, Trump kind of backed down around Macron. He still does. But when it comes to Trudeau, he thinks of him as kind of a beta. So that's why he goes after him. And he's like this, like, college boy looking guy, and Melania thinks he's cute. That's what this is all about. Sorry, Canada. I wish it was about some sort of actual dispute or some shit. I already told you guys where he got the 51st state thing. This is Elon Musk's plan. Again, Jesus Christ. Let me show you this again. I think it's very valuable. Technate of America. Whoops. I can spell. Hold on. Okay. And okay. Please go away. And we go to here. And let me show you. Here it is again. This is the Technocracy Inc. was the organization that Elon Musk's maternal grandfather was a part of in Canada. And their map envisions a future. And I'm guessing they intended that we would invade Mexico and push all these silly Latin American people further south and own all this land in here so that you could have Panama Canal. And, they want to control over this. But the U.S., Canada, Greenland is part of the Technate of America, which would be a country governed by engineers and scientists, and it wouldn't be a democracy anymore. And that's what they want. That it's not. Look at this. There's Greenland, Canada, 51st state. Like, that's what he's talking about. We need this for security. We need this. Like this. That's how that talk starts. It's not going to happen. Doesn't matter. That's where he's getting it from, though. It's not some like cute idea about the 51st state at all. Elon Musk talked him into this. This is part of that Peter Thiel fucking. We need a separate land mass where people can pay for stuff. Oops, sorry, click on that. There you go. Get it out of here. Back there.
You know that. They'd say, well, we don't charge. Well, they do. They charge tremendous. They charge tremendous. And
they do charge tremendous. How do... Yeah, by the way, let me know in the chat room, if you will. Chat room, let me know if... Mr. Arvid Swartz, I'm so glad that came up. Right? Let me know. I just saw somebody mention that they wouldn't have known about this if I hadn't brought it up. Let me know in the chat room if I'm the first person that showed you the Technate of America stuff. If you learned about it on this show, just let me know. Because, there you go. Thank you. This is where it came from. It is not some sort of like whimsical, crazy thought that everybody writes it off at. He's getting it from somewhere, and that somewhere is Elon fucking Musk. That's why I needed to show you this. This whole like technocracy thing, it's something. This is the grandfather that Musk talks about being the risk taker, who taught him how to be a big dreamer and all that kind of stuff. He listened to them, and this is the grandfather. This is the grandparent that spoke to him the most. So I'm glad I was able to help you guys by giving you increasing amounts of new and curious pieces of information that might fill in the gaps in the what the fuck that we all live in, right? Just kind of crucial. Thank you. All right, back to this dumbass.
If you look at dairy products, what they've done to our farmers, I'd go up to Iowa.
They haven't done anything to our farmers. They don't do anything to our farmers. Nobody has a responsibility to buy our shit ever at all. Especially if the volume of it would put all of their businesses, out of business. It would kill all their farms. And then what do you do? If there's a problem and America stops selling to you for some reason or another, you can't produce your own food because your farmers went broke. That's why tariffs exist.
Go up to different places, Nebraska, and they would always complain about Canada, how they get ripped off. Do you know that Canada has a 200?
Nebraska. You go up, Nebraska. Fuck me. Hold on. Nebraska. You go up to Nebraska. From where? Kansas? Does he think Nebraska's a border state? He does, doesn't he? Every state's a border state, Al. All right. Nebraska, well, let's see. Nebraska's GDP is $145 billion in 2023. 4% increase from 2022. GDP per person, $72,952. Now, that's a lot per person. Why is that? Well, farm earnings, largest factor, accounting for 13% of the state's earnings growth. Professional, scientific, and technical services contribute 11%. And there's more good news for Nebraska's Husker economy head spinning too. And so this was the blazing out of control Biden economy benefiting Nebraska. Now, what goes along with that? What's important to look at that? Well, let's look at Nebraska population. 2 million people. 2 million people, ladies and gentlemen. For reference, Los Angeles, not LA County, has somewhere in the order of 6 million. Nebraska has 2 senators. Los Angeles has 1/8 of one. It's big agribusiness. And they're not getting ripped off. They're doing just fine. And it's not because of fucking Canada. They sell most of their farm excess to China, dipshit.
150% tariff. 250. Nobody knows that. They charge us numbers that are crazy. We have a very big deficit with Canada.
What's the end game? You're adorable.
60
There's
billion.
no reason, much more. We have much more.
I don't think so.
Just so you understand, we subsidize Canada.
Listen to this.
No reason, much more. We have much more.
I don't think so.
Just so you understand, we subsidize.
I don't think so. What?
150% tariff. 250. Nobody knows that. They charge us numbers that are crazy. We have a very big deficit with Canada. And there's no reason, much more. We have much more.
She said 60 billion. That's our deficit with Canada.
I don't think so.
Just so you understand, we subsidize Canada. And I like Canada. I love Canada. I love Wayne
now
Gretzky.
the Liberal guys,
I love his wife.
The Liberal Party is going to win now in the next election, most likely. And they were down and out. But isn't that going to make them more hostile to us and possibly
I'd rather deal with a liberal than a
conservative? For China.
I'd rather deal with a liberal than a conservative.
To Canada, and that would really put us in a bind.
The conservative.
First of all, he said $200 billion deficit with them, and she said 60 billion, and literally talked back. Wow, women, you ain't supposed to do that to weak, flabby, orange testicle men.
That's running is stupidly no friend of mine. I don't know him, but he said negative things. So when he says negative things, I couldn't care less. I think it's easier to deal, actually, with a liberal. And maybe they're going to win, but I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me at all.
So your end game is what with them?
My end game is I don't want to have a big deficit. I don't want to see the United States of America, and you say 60 and I say 200, but it doesn't matter. I don't.
It kind of does. It kind of really does. If it went from 200 to 60 during this conversation, people would kind of go, holy shit. Also, we don't subsidize them. We just buy more from them than they buy from us because they couldn't possibly buy as much from us as we buy from them because we're bigger than they are.
Us to pay $60 or $200 billion to a country that if they were a state, think of this, he would be our biggest, most beautiful.
Wait, hey, no, let's bring up Nebraska. Nebraska has $145 billion, hold on, $145 billion GDP. We're 12%. Where's the, okay. Nebraska Budget Act. I'm going to try to get a news article on it. Oh, Trump's not going to like this. He just brought up the facts. This shit. TikTok conversation swirling about Nebraska going bankrupt. Over the past few weeks, people on TikTok have been talking about Nebraska's state budget shortfall and concluding the state is going to go bankrupt in the near future. Some of the claims are there's $400 million state budget shortfall. Federal cuts will make it worse. Poor Nebraska. Don't worry, we'll make it up with tariffs. KETV went to state capitol to ask your representatives to break down the numbers, tell you whether the speculation is true. Initial reaction was directed to the point Nebraska is not going bankrupt, especially because we don't have any debt. We balance our budget every year. Senator Brad Von Gillern agrees, adding where the misinformation may have stemmed from. I think any fears about Nebraska's financial position probably comes from a misunderstanding of how the budget process works. Yeah, probably that. The state makes projections and forecasts on the budget for future fiscal years. The budget shortfall shows up in the next budget cycle. All right, so we punt that every budget cycle. We balance this one by putting the debt off to the next budget. Okay. One of the claims made was Nebraska's going bankrupt into the next 6 months or so. Simply not true. The state has a constitutional obligation to balance the budget, but they can't, so they have to punt that right. We don't have provisions where the state could pass a budget that is in a deficit. That would basically allow for bankruptcy. Protection funds that the state has placed, 3 major safety nets, 3% minimum reserve requirement, rainy day fund, cash reserve funds. It's not uncommon to see projected budget shortfalls. Nebraska saw a projected $1 billion shortfall in 2017. We have had worse times than this, and we had not gone bankrupt then because the federal government bailed you out. We knew there was a budget shortfall coming in this legislative session. It was about $400 million or so. It is now down to $289 million, and it's the job of the Appropriations Committee to figure out how to balance the budget. The new number also includes federal spending cuts. Oh, DOGE. You naughty little thing.
Beautiful, it would be great. This state.
Just saying, like, where do you think the federal support that allows Nebraska to punt their budgetary shortfall into the next budgetary cycle, where do you think that money comes from, the federal money? You think it comes from neighboring states? Think it comes from South Dakota with all, whatever, 700,000 people that live in the state? Or do you think it comes from New York and California and Illinois and Washington State?
It would be cherished. We'd take care of it. The people would pay half what they're paying right now.
Obviously, their health care costs would go up.
Canada pays very little for defense. They think we're going to defend
We protect them.
We are.
What?
We protect them.
We protect them. We protect them. Do you know in NATO they pay less than anybody else? In everything else, they go.
But
we bought.
Yeah, but they're over here.
We're in the process of buying 48 icebreakers. All of a sudden, I see Canada's involved where they're going to get a piece of them. I say, what are they paying? So I got tired of it. Here's the story.
Because they make ships, and they specifically make ships that are icebreakers because they're of their proximity to a lot of fucking ice.
I had one of the most successful economies. I had the most successful economy in the history
Nonsense.
of our country in my
Not true.
first 4 years.
Not even true. In the first 3 years without COVID, certainly not with COVID, and you don't get a mulligan on a pandemic.
We did a great job. Largest tax cuts ever, largest everything.
Also not true.
We had right to try where people are able to use drugs.
no infrastructure bill, and couldn't get the lead pipe taken out of the water system in any of the cities, but couldn't even plan for it.
Stupidly for many.
No rural broadband. Fuck that. The Chips and Science Act obviously brought all the chips fabs that he's been bragging about.
Because they weren't able to use, you know, the far-reaching drugs because they weren't approved.
Yeah, the far-reaching drugs.
Somebody's terminally ill, they couldn't do it. With me, they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to die anyways, right? What do you got to lose? Yeah, you basically welcome to Trump's guinea pig corral.
We did so many things. We rebuilt our military. Canada doesn't pay for military. They don't give any. They give us nothing. And they are the worst people.
You do realize they don't have to give us anything. Oh, sorry. Hi, Murph. Hold on, buddy. You okay? You need out? Hold on. Yeah, no, come here. Come here. People want to. I know, but people want to say hi. Come here, buddy. I know. I'll let you out. I'll let you out. You're okay. You're a good boy. Okay. All right. Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Murphy. Tell him. Yeah, like and subscribe. That's what he said. You sure? You don't think liking is enough? They should become members? I agree. You go, buddy. Yeah, go ahead. Good Lord. Such a drama queen. Okay, sorry, back to where we were. Play, dummy.
Negotiate with, of everybody.
You got him with USMCA. You finally got him around the edge on that.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, shit. See, I thought she walked into it earlier when she disagreed with him, and now she's got to bring up the fact that USMCA sucks. Why would you have to get in a trade war with Mexico and Canada if USMCA was worth a damn? If USMCA was the greatest trade deal ever negotiated, how did all this other shit happen?
No, you got.
No, I got them there, and USMCA is good, but they cheat. You know, an agreement.
Well, if they cheat, then you gave them loopholes, apparently.
Good, but they cheat. And Mexico cheats also.
But China cheated on 2019.
Can I tell you what?
Phase one, they totally cheated and dropped it with Biden.
Oh, damn. They didn't even wait to drop it with Biden. They dropped it all together. They were supposed to buy $30 billion worth of stuff, 50, I think, by the end of the year. Trump thought he heard it was 15. He insisted it was 50 because he misheard it. They didn't even buy 10, and they need it.
You had a great deal.
When Biden took over, he didn't push them.
Oh, look at this. They cut it. They got in an argument. This is, all right, check this out. Look at the slice in this. This is, and by the way, I would like to remind you, this is titled Full Interview. Watch this edit. Listen to how they're talking and listen to the chunk of silence that pops in.
They totally cheated and dropped it with Biden. You had a great deal.
When Biden took over, he did.
You had a great deal. When Biden took over, like, that's a slice. She didn't stop talking right there.
Phase one, they totally cheated and dropped it with Biden. You had a great deal.
When Biden took over, he did.
Listen to that. Oh, that was just sucked the air out of it.
Phase one, they totally cheated and dropped it with Biden. You had a great deal.
When Biden took over, he didn't push them. I would call up once every 2 weeks saying you're not living up to the agreement, and they'd buy more corn, more this. So the most we ever did was $15 billion.
No, they didn't.
With China, the farmers and everything, and manufacturing.
Yeah.
I had them up to $50 billion, and
no, he didn't. He had that on paper because he misheard $15 billion from his own people, and he made them put it 50.
Doing it. When Biden get it, do you think Biden called up President Xi and said, "You're screwing us"?
Click here to
So they just ended it there. This full interview, full interview. There's not even a thank you, Mr. President, bow out, slice. Holy shit. Do you think he thought this was gonna this is how interviews on Fox News would be going? Yeah. Good times. All right. I'm going to if you don't mind, subscribe. I'm going to rest my voice so I can do a show tomorrow. And I thank you, chat room, for being with me today. And I'm glad that I could be the one that unveiled the secret plot to turn all of North America and part of South America and Central America into the tech native America, and that Elon Musk would be able to do it if he wasn't personally a fucking moron, which he is. And I think the moral of the story is, if you can film footage of Teslas on fire, Fox will play it like crazy because they're very easily upset about it. And if you own the footage, they have to pay you for it. And I'm of three minds about this. And all of them, you know, my upper, my innie, and my outie all agree that it's a good plan. It's not a new career, Arizona, Florida. I'm not. No. That said, they're not shutting down that place, so I'm gonna have to set up a ring cam, kind of filming it, that, you know, is set to if there's a fire, and I can do that too. You bet your ass I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have like a permanent security cam on there, because I don't mind catching the people who do it. Even if I hate Elon Musk, don't set fire to shit. So I'll catch them. I'll get a reward. If Elon Musk had to pay me a reward, I would invest it in a studio that I would drive to every day in a Rivian, or actually I'm going to get the Hummer. I'm going to get the electric Hummer. I do not have a Tesla. And I'm not going to get one. Yeah, my future car, the car I want, is the electric Hummer. It's just kind of, I just like the sound of it. So naughty. Hey, hit that like. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I gotta stop talking. Thank you guys for the super chats. Boston Brian is live in 20 minutes. Go check him out.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
They laughed at us when we said that aliens existed, and they mocked us when we started wearing bubble wrap jumpsuits. But who's laughing now, huh? I'll tell you who's laughing now. We are! Soon we will leave this lame planet and fly through outer space with cool aliens who like us. It is going to be awesome!
He's gonna take the fucking picture.
Huckleberry.
I'm just a happy camper. Sorry.